So today, we're going to talk about the life of Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam. But, this isn't just a history lesson. We're actually digging into his journey to pull out a timeless blueprint for innovation, for making an impact. Let's dive right in.
This story starts in this almost mythic way. It's about a boy from a small coastal town who, even with the odds stacked against him, just dared to have these enormous dreams, and who carried an entire nation in his heart. See, for him, this was never just about personal success. It was all about finding and living out his purpose. Look, to really get the man who would become the missile man and later the people's president, we have to go right back to the beginning. It was in those humble beginnings that the real foundation of his character, that incredible resilience and humility, was truly forged. Let's just quickly trace these early years, because they're so important. He was born in 1931 in Ramaswaram into a poor family. As a kid, he actually had to sell newspapers just to help out. But his drive, his hunger to learn, was just relentless. And it all led to him graduating with a degree in aerospace engineering from the top-tier Madras Institute of Technology in 1960. And this is what's so powerful, right? It's all about perspective. For most people, these circumstances, poverty, not having much, that would be the whole story. But for Kalam, they were just formative. He didn't see shame in his work. He saw the dignity of a self-made journey. And this built a deep, deep sense of discipline that would literally fuel the rest of his life. So all that character he built, that became the engine for his entire professional career. A career where he helped forge a nation's strength, taking India from its very first satellite launches all the way to strategic self-reliance. Okay, so this is where he earns the title, the Missile Man of India. He was the head of India's very first satellite launch vehicle project. He was the father of the missile program, leading these legendary projects like Prithvi, Agni, and Akash. And you have to understand, these weren't just rockets. They were powerful symbols of a nation's rising ambition. And then you get to 1998. This was a huge moment. As a key scientific advisor, Dr. Kalam played an absolutely critical role in the Pokhran 2 nuclear tests. This was an event that fundamentally changed India's place on the world stage, cementing its strategic autonomy for good. But here's the thing, for a guy who had these monumental, world-changing achievements under his belt, his approach was just so humble. He never, ever took the credit alone. He always understood that you don't build great things by yourself. You build them with a dedicated, passionate team. And you know what? That exact same philosophy of humility, he carried it right into his next chapter, becoming president. He walked into the highest office in the entire country and just completely redefined what power looked like, simply by leading with that same deep-seated humility. So what was it that made him the people's president? Well, it was this incredible blend, right? You had this profound humility and total accessibility, mixed with a powerful, forward-looking vision for the nation, and all of it was grounded in this commitment to simplicity. Honestly, he was unlike any leader the country had ever seen. And this slide just perfectly captures that contrast. I mean, here's a man who held the country's highest civilian honor, but he'd still stand in line with everyone else. He was the head of a nuclear power, but get this, when some of his relatives came to stay at the presidential palace, he actually calculated the cost of their stay and paid for it out of his own pocket. This was a man who, after 5 years as president, left office with literally just his books and his clothes. Incredible. Okay, we have talked a lot about his successes, but if you really want to understand his mindset, you have to look at how he dealt with failure. Because he didn't just get through setbacks, he actually turned them into stepping stones. So let me ask you this. Imagine, you've poured years of your life, blood, sweat, and tears into a project. The entire nation is watching, and at launch, it fails, spectacularly. For most of us, that would just be a crushing, devastating defeat. But not for Dr. Kalam, no way. His perspective was just revolutionary. For him, failure wasn't the end of the story. It wasn't defeat. It was just new information. It was data that you could analyze, learn from, and use to do better next time. He basically redefined the word failure. It wasn't a loss. It was a lesson. It was valuable data telling you exactly what to do next. And maybe most important of all, he saw it as an absolutely essential part of the process of achieving excellence. It was this exact mindset that let his teams bounce back from those early rocket failures and ultimately achieve incredible success. All right, so let's tie all of this together. What does his legacy really mean for us? today? Well, this last part is all about his blueprint, the lessons he left behind for every single student, engineer, leader, and innovator out there.
So here it is, what we could call the Kalam method, boiled down into 4 simple steps. First, dream big, but have the discipline to start small. Second, never stop learning and always combine different fields like science and ethics. Third, always put humanity first. Make sure your tech is there to serve people. And finally, remember that real innovation is a team sport. It never, ever happens alone.
So what's the ultimate takeaway here? At the end of the day, it's that your purpose matters way more than your position. That lifelong learning isn't just nice to have, it's non-negotiable. That real impact happens when you combine ethics with engineering, and that the future, the real force for change, is the youth, a generation he absolutely cherished and mentored, right up until his very last breath. You know, he left us with so many powerful words, but this one quote really feels like it captures his entire philosophy. It all starts with a dream, but the dream is just the beginning. You have to transform it into thoughts, and then you have to relentlessly turn those thoughts into action. So look, Dr. Kalam laid out a clear blueprint, one built on discipline, humility, vision, and an unshakable belief in the power of dreams. He used it to help build a stronger nation and to inspire millions. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build with it?